Him go down. I think he had something in the tank there, but hopefully we can see what he's got for today.
So Ken Roczen was today's fastest qualifier, picking up where he left off at Unadilla, where he was fast qualifier and won both motos. Ferrandis ended up just behind him by a tenth for second quickest in qualifying. Tomac, Sexton, Webb, top 5. As always, 30 minutes and 2 laps. We thought it was going to be a mud race. It's actually turned out to be quite nice. If anything, the conditions off to manage is the heat and humidity. Haven't had a lot of that at the races this year, but that is the case today. Fly Racing 30-second card is up. Can Ken Roczen continue the momentum from last week? Can Ferrandis or someone else shut that down? We're going to find out here in just a moment.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah, mechanics walk off, and now it's just rider against rider. All right, this is going to be a big one from Budds Creek. Ken Roczen trying to rebuild his championship run. Revs are up. Gauge down. Oh, the inside did not work. A couple of riders got pinched off.
Someone went down.
Cooper Webb's going to grab your motorsport.com whole shot. I think it was Tomac right behind him, and then Roczen to third. Sexton fourth. It's Craig and Bogle down in the first turn. Meanwhile, Roczen already around Tomac and Webb under pressure.
Where is Ferrandis? Points leader. Don't see him near the front. Ken Roczen makes a great move there. Got a good drive of that off-camber uphill. Just takes the line away from Cooper Webb. Makes a quick pass.
And there it is, Roczen to the lead, and he will try to take off. Webb in second, Tomac third. And Tomac, now he's trying to figure out a way around the number 2. Webb in the Red Bull KTM Monster Energy Kawasaki for Tomac. And listen to the crowd, they love this. There's Ferrandis into the picture now, right behind Sexton. So not a bad start, just not as good as these 3.
No, but as you alluded to, it could be a lot worse. But when I didn't see him initially, I thought, oh boy, where is he at? But that is still a pretty good position.
It's about par for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a whole shot artist. And then behind him would actually be Shock, putting together a good run here at the home track as Webb fending off Tomac. So here's Cooper Webb. Been waiting for it to catch fire. We actually had a chance to talk to his team manager, Ian Harrison, this week. And he said, look, we've got to be realistic. Of course, we'd like the guy to win races, but he's been getting 5ths in the motos like he did last week at Unadilla. You got to be realistic and think podium should be the goal first. Then maybe go after the race wins. It just hasn't come together, really, for either he or his teammate, Marvin Musquin. Started the year with some settings from the MXGP squad in Europe. And he said, you know, the data from Europe shows that was good stuff. They had already gotten a head start. They had already been racing. For whatever reason, it wasn't working for these riders, so they've been going back and forth on settings all year. But either way, settings, whatever it is, they just haven't been close. It hasn't been the typical performance you'd expect from the Supercross champion, or Musquin has won a lot of races in this series. Is it going to be better today from Webb?
I feel like he's been creeping up closer towards that front battle and slightly better results. He's also had good starts and been able to fight up front. I mean, look, it's not like Roczen's just checked out. He's still kind of right there, even though Eli looks like he's got some good pace at the moment. Interesting to see if he was able to get around Cooper Webb quickly. Would he be able to go after Kenny? I sure think Ferrandis would like to see that.
Yeah, I feel like I say it every week. The first lap, Roczen is so good, and Roczen did get around these guys. But let's see if they can match him as we settle in now. And Sexton not too far back from 4th.
Uh-oh, mistake there from Eli Tomac. As I was saying on one of the track maps, it's off-cambered, so if you don't have the bike lent into that hill as you take off, which is also sketchy because of the ruts, it pops you to that outside and wants to force you off the track. So a little mistake there. I'm surprised Sexton didn't have a chance to sneak through, but he recovered really quickly. So,
and Ferrandis just lurking behind Sexton. So Tomac going to have to go back to work on Webb. Savati 6th, Shock 7th, Plessinger 8th. Runkles, Jacob Runkles, one of the locals, running in 9th. Talked to him before practice today. Said, yeah, a couple of us, we're Wednesday warriors. These guys that are driving to the races really only have time to ride one day a week. Runkles didn't ride at all between here and Unadilla due to all the rain between races. But he's doing it for the home track fans right now inside the top 10. And the same thing, 10th place, Justin Rodbell, also a Maryland native. Shock from Delaware, considered local. That's 3 riders that ride and race around here in the top 10. As we go back to Tomac, he has found his form now.
Yeah, with all those riders in the top 10, it just reminds you of how many factory riders are not in the top 10. So,
yeah,
as you say, great ride for Shock, Runkles, and Rodbell. See if they can carry it through to the end of this moto.
Tomac trying to catch back up to Webb after that mistake, losing some ground, and he has.
So aggressive through there. Just bulldogs his way through. That's what Eli Tomac's built his career on. Uh-oh, Craig is down.
We had Craig in a first turn crash with Bogle. This is obviously separate here a couple laps in. At least he's getting back to the bike. It doesn't appear hurt.
Yeah. Whatever happened, it threw him off the track. Oh, we
have it.
Have a replay. Let's have a look. It's behind the start straight. So this is through the... Oh, he washes out.
Uh-oh.
It's just starting to get slick and shiny there. I must say that was about as good a dismount as he could have hoped for.
Yeah, did not get tagged by the motorcycle. Looked like Tomac, by the way, was setting up a pass on Webb. Did not come together and actually lost little ground to that section again.
Now it looks like Sexton's going to have a go at Tomac if he gets a chance. Nothing in it. And then Ferranis right behind him. So a little bit like that 250 moto where we saw Jet Lawrence behind this small gaggle for a little while. It took him a few laps to find his groove. And all the while, Roczen starting to check out, kind of like Cooper did in that first 250 moto.
It is very similar to what that 250 moto turned out. They weren't able to catch Cooper in the 250s. Will anyone be able to answer Roczen in this moto? Webb doing everything he can to hold Tomac off.
Justin Cooper, that is, right?
I know.
I don't want people to get
confusing.
confused about Cooper Webb.
It does get confusing. So Webb holding on to the number 2 spot. Which direction will it go? Will it be Tomac attacking Webb? Will it be Sexton attacking Tomac? Looks like it might be Sexton on the move right now.
Chase has been riding well lately. And thankfully this time around, no big mistake in the opening lap or two. So he's put himself in a good spot.
Tomac just so good through this section of the track here, and he sheds the pressure from Sexton and is right back to Webb. These 2 or 3 corners, man, Eli's tough to stop. Look at him arcing to try to get to the inside on the downhill. Couldn't get there.
Yeah, great intent, though. But as you said, right down here kind of funnels into this one line, and he's going to try and force it. That was slick. He was arcing into that turn without the brakes on. That was a lot of confidence on the front end of that Kawasaki, and he wanted that bad. You heard it after the 250 motor riders talking about going through tear-offs, vision being an issue. So Sexton's like, hey, man, I'm running out of tear-offs too. He's going to have a go down the inside.
All right, Webb's going to have to really get a drive around the outside. Sexton the short way around, side by side. Webb holds him off for the moment. Steel wheel to wheel. Oh, I don't know how Sexton made that ground on the outside. Yeah. Can he hold it? No.
Can he stay low over here? Still going to be a bit of a drag race through this dip. Cooper's on the inside, but Chase Sexton's going to break late over Henry Hill. Put him to the inside.
This could be the move. Webb fighting, trying to slide back to the inside. Sexton's got it.
Man. Oh, look at
Sexton
that.
Right there on Tomac. Takes the spot away.
Oh, Eli Tomac didn't quite close the door, and Chase just barreled through that turn. Front wheel was light halfway through there. Absolute slick move.
You don't see that type of thing happen to Tomac very often.
I don't know if Tomac maybe made a little mistake coming to that turn and had to choose that outer line. But either way, Sexton took opportunity right there.
And now Ferrandis sensing the intensity ratcheting up as both Sexton and Tomac have gotten around Webb. So he's going to go after him as well.
Got to be a little bit frustrating for Cooper Webb to be getting good starts and being one of those close but just off enough that you're basically getting passed by the top guys. You know, it happens slowly, but it's like a painful, slow death sometimes. You know, you're just watching it. And for him, it's got to be frustrating. It's now Ferrandis. He's going to try to go to that inside as well.
Same thing Tomac did. He's on the inside, and he's got him.
Well, Cooper's also got to learn from that. If you get past, a lot of times you got to go learn and go, okay, maybe my line is not the premier line. Especially when you're having a season where you're not the one dominating. Try to make some changes. Follow the other guy's lines. Just try to...
Oh! Ferrandis almost threw it away.
he got loose on like the very first braking bump, and he was gathering that up most of the way down the hill. That was a lot of strength and power out there to pull that back.
Ken Roczen, a 7.2-second gap over that big battle for the number 2 spot. And by the way, it's the way Honda would like to script it. They not only have Roczen up front, they have Chase Sexton behind him, putting more riders between himself and Ferrandis early at Budds Creek. Washing the bikes off, and they'll be racing out the top of the hour as we check in on Dylan Ferrandis, our series leader in this 450 class, but only 4th in this moto, and he has 2 very tough riders to get to even get into 2nd. First, Eli Tomac, and then Chase Sexton, and they're all lapping quicker than Ferrandis, so he's actually losing a little bit of ground, and Ken Roczen is long gone, 7.4 seconds ahead of Sexton.
Yeah, I wonder if for Ferrandis, he hasn't shown that spark that you see sometimes. I wonder if he's just not feeling 100% comfortable. You know, by no means is it a bad moto. You know, for him, this would be a bad moto. But just, you know, sometimes the Ferrandis, you watch him, he looks like he's one with the bike. He's putting it where he wants. He's dancing with it. It's going wherever he wants it. Whereas right now, he looks like he's a little timid on the bike. Almost maybe like not 100% comfortable with what it's doing. Well, we saw him on that downhill. Obviously, that might have something to do with it. But the way the track has changed and evolved, and they've groomed it, and it's dried out, you're chasing the whole time with setup. You know, what you would have started the day with, you've probably made quite a few changes. Or if you didn't, as Justin Cooper found out last week in the 250 class, if you don't change with the track conditions that are changing, you can be left behind.
As we check in with Plessinger here, he's in 7th, trying to catch Savacci, who has Webb in sight now. So this is Plessinger, who had a great race going last week, and then that huge crash we showed you before the moto. Pretty gritty ride here. Talking to him earlier, he said again, the ribs in the lower back, that's what hurts the most. Said also a bruised liver. Send it down to Ashley with more of the number 7.
Dr. G Aaron Plessinger works really hard with Dr. G, and Dr. G took the moments to really tape those ribs to give him that extra support, since the cartilage is what is damaged from that crash last week. So they're taping him to give him support and just make sure. One of the hardest parts when you hurt your ribs is to take a deep breath when you're out there, and that's really important, especially on a day like today when it's hot. You have to pick spots on the track where you can take a deep breath, kind of refresh yourself so you can keep going. Aaron Plessinger in pain out there, but definitely still performing.
Yeah, Dr. A-Trey Gubernick, the guru for a lot of these riders. Wow.
The bike was moving around too.
Whew, you're dealing with injuries and you're dealing with that. Sheesh, that's a rough go.
Dr. G's been around a long time.
Look at Cody Schock. This is impressive what he's putting together. And now, as you like to say, strength to strength to strength, week in and week out.
Yeah. You can see that confidence building just the way he's riding. But on the flip side, just watching Aaron in front of him, he looks like someone that's a little bit beaten up. He looks just a little bit timid on the bike, you know, not moving around as much as maybe normal. But yeah, anyone that's dealt with rib injuries would tell you it's annoying more than anything, because it reminds you all the time, take those deep breaths hurt. Obviously Dr. G trying to tape things up, it just takes a little stress off the cartilage in that area. Whoa,
Schock airing out that jump there, and impressive. He continues to close. So he is on the FXR Chaparral Honda. Great story brewing. So we get to the halfway point of this moto. 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. You could save 15% or more on your insurance with a 15-minute phone call to Geico. So Schock not only putting in great results on a privateer effort, this team does get a little help from Honda, but none of the cool factory parts. That's a cool story. His relationship with his mechanic, Tony Archer, who's also from this area and a former pro, is great. This is hilarious. So Archer, there he is. His wife's pregnant. Any day now, any week now, could be having a baby. But here's what I think is the most hilarious. Schock lives with Archer. So when this baby comes, Schock's going to be on diaper duty just as much. Uncle Cody, they're calling him. That is how tight the relationship is. They live together. They ride and practice and train together. They fly to the races together. They work together. And as Archer told me yesterday, he's like, look, I was a privateer. I probably know all the things not to do. So that's what I'm able to teach. His career maybe didn't go exactly with the results he wanted, and he's transferring a lot of lessons to Cody, and it's coming together for the 72.
Just hope we don't have to hear about Cody getting lack of sleep because of babies crying.
Yeah, it could affect both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, with both of Schock and Archer being from this area, they would have loved to have come down early for the race, but they had to go back to California just in case baby came. Meanwhile, we look at this battle. You've got Tomac, and Ferrandis is there. So Ferrandis has put it back together. Looked shaky for a couple of laps, but he is catching Eli Tomac. And Tomac does not look aggressive.
As we've seen so many times with Ferrandis, the second half of the motos, no matter what's going on, you see that he just finds that line. Eli buried the bike on the inside, and then Ferrandis gets even a little bit closer. Even if the bike's not working 100%, even if he doesn't feel that great, look at that. That was full commitment up the inside. He decided that's where he was going to make it happen. That's one of the best parts of the track, because as you're going through those rollers, it pushes you out, but Ferrandis just wanted that real bad. Basically kept the bike tighter by turning it on the, when I say turning it with the rear, meaning power sliding. That was beautiful.
While doing jumps. While
trying to soak up all the jumps as well. Oh, the lap traffic.
Oh, getting around Jace Kessler here, barely.
That's one of those sections, it's just really tough for anyone to try and get out of the way. But now Ferrandis is starting to look better as this moto goes on.
Oh, absolutely. He is hauling the mail. And look at this. He's pulling away. Almost put an Eli Tomac type move on Tomac to get into the number 3 spot. We'll show it to you again with the Thor drone shot.
Yeah, watch this. They come up the hill. See, Eli buries the bike right there. Then Ferrandis gets a better drive, so he closes right up. They land, and then just watch this. Right here, he decides, he turns tight, gasses it. Eli's getting ready to cut back to the inside, and all of a sudden he sees a blue machine there. Could not do anything after that.
So Dylan Ferrandis doing what he does. Second half of the race, salvaging points. Might only be a third unless there's a break up front. But it looked like it could have been worse than that earlier in this moto. It is not over here. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, first 450 moto from Budds Creek. Ken Roczen mired in some lap traffic that slowed him up. Meanwhile, his teammate, who is in second, Chase Sexton, has found his groove. And the lead is down to 3.1 seconds.
Well, I tell you what, Kenny and that Honda looked a little nervous through that section as well. So I got a feeling there's going to be quite a few riders and teams making some adjustments between motos. I think this track's caught them off guard just a little bit, but Sexton is the man on the move right now.
Yeah, we were wondering if Ferrandis could catch Sexton. Now it might be more likely that Sexton catches Roczen. And look at the last lap times. Nearly 2 seconds faster, Sexton, compared to Roczen. And that is what has gotten this gap down to now 2.9 seconds. So Kenny is going to have to dig deep here. I know the obvious question people would have is, well, what about team tactics, things like that? I don't know how they'll play that with 8 motos to go. And Sexton can't afford to lay up too much because you're going to have Ferrandis to deal with if you do.
Yeah, this is a good shot. You can see the gaps. So the good news for the Honda boys, they have put a little bit of daylight between themselves and Ferrandis on the Yamaha.
Here's Roczen into more traffic, and we saw this in the 250 moto, hitting guys in bunches. Really got to weather the storm through here. I don't think Roczen lost any time there.
No, but as the leader, you're always the first one that comes up on the lappers. At least once they get the blue flag afterwards, they know that the leaders are coming through. But more often than not, it's the guy out front that kind of usually gets the worst of it.
Down to 2 seconds, the lead now. So Sexton continues to take not tenths of a second, but seconds out each lap around. And you can see him lurking.
Well, we'll have a look. Kenny picked it up just a little bit that time around at 152. But again, Sexton in the 151s and Ferrandis a 150. Dylan danger zone.
Uh-oh. If he gets these guys in the sights, it's going to be a furious finish. This should be fun to watch. Which direction will it go? Will it be Sexton catching Roczen, Ferrandis catching Sexton? And if you're Honda, who has made no misgivings about their situation, they want this title badly. So the mission is obvious. You have to keep Ferrandis behind you, both of these guys.
And if my calculation's correct, they still have to complete almost 6 more laps of this moto, which in the heat, the humidity, the ruts, the lap traffic, it's quite a bit of time left. It's the important sort of crunch time of a moto. You found your rhythm, you've got your wherever you came out of start, you're finding your groove. Now it's digging deep. Yeah. He was slowing down. When we took the camera off him, Cody's shock was all over him. He just looked like he was wincing in pain. And I think just too much. He's riding off back to the pits. Hats off for trying. There's a reason why he's the people's champ.
Yeah, they do love Plessinger these days, man. Wears his heart on his sleeve, and just showing up at all and trying it was impressive. But that could be it for his race day. I don't know if we'll get him back for Moto 2. Would certainly seem doubtful at this point. So that's a rough one for the Monster Star Racing Yamaha team, but they've got a horse in this race still with Ferrandis in third. And he has got what was once a 5-second deficit to Roczen down to 3.8. And enough time for Sexton to catch Roczen and or Ferrandis to catch Sexton. Catch the Arca Menards Series Future Stars of NASCAR are right here on MAV TV. Go to mavtv.com for the schedule. These are not the future stars of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. This is the top billing 450 class. Ken Roczen leading the way, but it is going to be a scrap down the stretch. His teammate Chase Sexton had closed the gap down to 2 seconds, and then they were about even for a bit, and then Roczen a big mistake while getting through some lap traffic, and now it's down to 1.8 seconds. Here's the mistake. He was trying to get around Ben LeMay, and then he nearly went off track.
It cuts to the inside. You see then the rear wheel slides, and then the front wheel drifts into that berm. He was inside that inner uphill line there. And yeah, as we said, like turns like this, you're really asking a lot out of those knobby tires. And Ken Roczen again, another little bobble, almost jumps off the track.
This is just a tale of the stopwatch here, and actually it was advantage Roczen on the second half of that lap. He ended up still being a little bit quicker than Sexton, so whatever he lost with that mistake, he stretched it back out.
But Ferrandis was the quickest of the front three at the 150.
Whoa.
And more lap traffic.
What is the story? We saw this in the 250 class. That was beautiful, by the way, from Roczen to really over that bump. What you want to talk about? The wheelie, or what is the deal? Why so much lap traffic today?
I just think with the track being so rough and technical, it separates the top, the factory riders more from some of the privateers. Call it experience, machinery, and the reason why these guys are factory riders, they are the best of the best. But there's just a little more separation than usual as Sexton unable to triple up the hill there.
And this is the danger zone. Look, Ferrandis is right there, and rarely this season has Ferrandis gotten someone in his sights and not been able to take the measure of him. So Sexton is going to have to fight for it.
They just lapped Meshi, who's in 16th. So
wow,
they're lapping some really good riders. They're going to be coming up on Bogle and Chisholm and Rodbell here in a little bit.
Yeah, Rodbell's putting in what might be his best run of the season in 12th, but he might still get lapped. So we're going to see what Sexton is made of down the stretch. The mission is clear. They've got to keep the Yamaha rider behind them to help Roczen score max points. Plus, if you're Sexton, even racing for individual honors, you do not want to let Ferrandis by, even for your own benefit.
I think this lap around, Sexton was the one that got held up by lappers more than anyone. I think Kenny got through okay, and I think Ferrandis got through quite nicely.
We got to give a shout out to Ferrandis' fitness, man. In the second half of these races, he has been so strong. I know he works closely, of course, with David Villemin, Frenchman, won races in this series before. Things have changed a bit, but Ferrandis now moving to Florida from California, but that might only make things even better for him on a humid race day like this.
Yeah.
He is coming on strong.
If you're able to ride and train in those conditions, you come up here and a lot of people are like, wow, it's really humid. You leave Florida and you come up here, you're like, this is a nice little breather. Florida is gnarly. But on the flip side, you can wear yourself out during the week and be dehydrated. So there's a fine line between punishing yourself in the humidity as well as trying to get used to it. Sexton smooth through there. He knows Ferrandis is coming. He's going to get on the pit board. He's going to hear it. He's going to hear it from the crowd as well. And Kenny, once again, just managing that lead out front. The lap time show at last lap around. Kenny and Dylan were in the 52s and Sexton was the 54, I really feel like that came down to lap traffic.
Yeah, the real issue here is Sexton has lost the pace, and that's what allowed Roczen to get away and Ferrandis to put the pressure on. Can Sexton find it again? Oh, Ferrandis is putting the heat on, side by side.
Well, what's going to happen here? Will the 23, I thought he might try Ferrandis, run him wide. Ferrandis is going to stay lower over the jump.
Ooh, no, Sexton able to squeeze him off. Ferrandis doing a good job keeping that outside as short as he can, and with a lap rider in front of Sexton, Ferrandis is around.
Wow, that was super close right there, really close for comfort. I thought that maybe Sexton and that might be Hand on the 122. Number was a bit muddy, but yeah, their lines almost came together on the landing of Henry Hill there. But for Ferrandis, once again, doing damage control.
Well, look, yes, the lap rider helped to make the pass, but you got to give Ferrandis credit for making up that ground. He is just an animal late in these motos. Only 2 to go. Roczen with a 4.9 second lead. He is gone, so he just has to control it to the end.
Oh, they missed it.
They didn't make it. They missed the 2-lap board by a few seconds, they are telling us. So it's 3 to go from Roczen.
Oh, that's exactly what Ferrandis wanted to see. I would have to say, if we're going to talk about the who's got more in the tank at the end of the moto, I'd put my money on the 14. But Kenny's ridden a smooth race, and he was able to do that from out front.
Still a pretty sizable gap here, as you can see. Here's your motorsport.com whole shot replay, then we'll get you back to that action.
Yeah, just see on the inside, keeps it tight. As you said, it was Webb that had it, but Kenny just cut through really quick.
Yeah, so the motorsport.com whole shot goes to Webb, but it wasn't long before Roczen, who just edged ahead of his teammate Sexton there for third, got around both Tomac and Webb to take the lead. He has been in control of the race from there. And more good news if you're a Ken Roczen fan. The gap was 4.9. It's 5.2. So Ferrandis, at least in the first half of this lap, isn't catching him.
And who knows, maybe it was also some more lap traffic. We've seen a lot of it in this moto. Now, nothing but daylight between Roczen and Ferrandis. And Ferrandis not giving up. Even if he doesn't pass Ken Roczen, he wants Roczen to go to the truck and think about this afterwards.
Okay.
Like, man, he got right up to me from quite a ways back. You know, wow, you know, he's got good speed as usual.
Hey, impressive. We were already starting to count points, wondering, is Ferrandis really going to be able to get Tomac and Sexton? He has done it. He's up to second, but Roczen fending him off. Now the 2-lap card is out. And the gap is, well, 4 seconds.
Ferrandis took almost a second out on that lap, but it's 2 laps to go. He's going to need a little more than that. He's going to need some lap traffic help or a mistake from Kenny, but Kenny's been in these positions many a time. But if it's one of those days where, with the track being this rough, it's one of the few times you don't want to be on the ragged edge on the last 2 laps under pressure.
Roczen trying to weather this storm from Ferrandis. Sexton has lost the toe. He's 6 seconds behind Ferrandis now in third. Then it's Tomac and Webb in the top 5. Savacci next. Shock putting in the best ride he has ever had, running in 7th. Muscan, haven't heard much from him in this moto, is now 8th. Wilson 9th. Max Anstey on the HEP Twisted Tea Suzuki. Shout out to the RM Army. He's in 10th right now. Ferrandis still digging, but he's actually lost a little bit of ground. I don't know if it's conditions or lap traffic. Every time we get a split, the times change. Someone gains, someone loses. Yeah. Someone gains, someone loses. We don't have the constant, just this guy's running a faster pace. It varies.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on that one. It's just clean turns, clean laps. And also I feel like the way the track's unfolding, riders will have certain parts of the track that they tend to like more or feel more comfortable on. Because I feel like in the first half, like you said, Roczen pulls a little bit, but then it seems like Ferrandis is able to just claw it back a little bit in the second half of the lap around here.
Well, it's exactly what happened. Roczen got it back over 5 seconds. Now it's 4.4 with the interval split times. And then we'll get another one as they come by the finish here. But the real problem is the white flag is about to come out.
Yeah, well, it's only a problem if you're Ferrandis. If you're Kenny Roczen, it's a very welcoming sight. So, yeah, Ferrandis is going to be like, man, same thing if I had another lap or two, to your point. But I think Kenny's ridden a masterful race. He's picked it up when he had to. Yes, he's made little mistakes, but he's a little bit like Justin Cooper in that first 250 moto. Just felt like he had it under control.
As we predicted, they're lapping Rodbell, who is in 12th place. His best moto of the season, Rodbell in the SGB Kawasaki. Rodbell, a local, he's a Maryland native, and that team is based actually out of Maryland as well. So he's putting in his best run of the year, and now he gets to get lapped. That's the difference today. The elite of the elite. Rodbell, I think 16th was his best moto this year. So that is the separation on this track today. Look at this. Ferrandis nearly has Roczen in his sights.
Oh, if Kenny gets held up or makes one mistake, this could be an interesting half a lap. He got held up a tad there. And Ferrandis obviously now can see it.
He might be out of time or not. Yeah, one mistake by Roczen, and Ferrandis will be right there with about a quarter of a lap to go.
Nerve-wracking time, especially if you're the Honda team watching this all unfold.
Unbelievable what Ferrandis can do late in these races. It looked like hope was lost. He was a distant fourth for a while, and then he found his groove. And now he's within about 5 bike lengths.
Can he do what he did on Tomac on
boy.
that sweeper right before the finish line? That would be heartbreaking
He's right
for
there.
Roczen.
Roczen makes a mistake. He's trying to get around Chisholm. He looks over and sees Ferrandis. Here it is. Ferrandis has made passes through here. Roczen's got the hustle.
Yeah, he kept it tight. Smart move from Kenny.
He does. Keeps the door closed. And Ken Roczen is going to win the first moto here at Budds Creek. Ferrandis right there.
Look at Ferrandis. He is not happy. I mean, I thought he rode a champion's race right there, but I think the frustration more was the one guy I wanted to beat.
Yeah.
Finishes right in front of me. It was like a tease.
Yeah, and he did end up giving Roczen the fist pump there. Yeah, so it's both a good race, but I'm bummed. I would have liked to have won that one as Roczen comes in to cool off, and there it is, a high five between those two. They got a lot of respect.